So, why are you both still in this position?
I'm stuck, sad face.
And because his fat ass has clogged the toilet, I have severe constipation and cannot move at all.
Nice.
We don't have much time left. I really wouldn't recommend going through there. I need more views.
No views.
Serious. Or else, all of us will be classified null and void.
Let's just appease him for now, Bob.
Fine.
This is a quick PSA. Stay safe online by not clicking any suspicious links, especially odd links sent by any friends of yours. If you somehow did not hear, SMG4 was recently hacked and the hacker is still active, so please just make sure to double check before you click on links, especially if something seems odd about the link or the way or reason it was sent. Hey all, no Null here. So remember when I said that my biggest complaint about the lawsuit arc was the strange absence of some characters throughout the arc? Well, after thinking about it for a bit, I kind of have another complaint. The latter half of the lawsuit arc really feels like a bit of a retread of the YouTube arc's later episodes, which is something I said I thought they wouldn't do lmao. Think about it. The third to last episode ends with everyone dying. The penultimate episode has Mario actually being useful and outwitting the antagonist one-on-one, and then everyone returning. And the final episode is, at least we're pretty sure, a wotfi. There's even an argument to make that Miyamoto is kind of similar to Susan, as both are sort of neutral if you don't mess with them and are more powerful than the arc's antagonist.
Now there are definitely big differences between these arcs, such as obviously SMG4 and Lawyer Kong being quite different, particularly with their motivations and relationships with the characters. And obviously the arc hasn't even finished yet, but I gotta say I'm getting a little worried about this arc. And it's a shame because up until Mario's escape this arc was going really good, I'd argue. The premise of this arc is really interesting, and the execution of the sadder/tense moments has been great. It's also been good on the funny front as well, and despite most characters not doing anything really, it's cool to see virtually all the original characters, though I wish some certain characters were not as sidelined as they have been, specifically in the latest episodes. Like, some of the main cast didn't speak a line in the 5th episode at all, which was a bit weird.
So I feel like this arc should have been longer than the 7 episodes it is shaping up to be. This way it avoids the feeling of rushing at the end that was similarly felt with the Youth arc, as I feel the characters should not have all returned in this episode, even if their lives are still at stake, as making it a while before we see them again would make the impact of the 5th episode feel greater and make their return more satisfying and relieving. Also, again it would remove the similarities to the Youth arc. I also think up until Mario's escape this arc was working well. And while the escape was entertaining, it should not have happened immediately. Instead Luigi, Bob and Boopkins should have been with Mario and the effects on the 4 and the world of SMG4, the gang and the channel being gone should have been explored more. It also should have been better established that they were trapped at Nintendo, as that honestly was not made too clear. I think the episode should have ended with this scene, where Mario gets determined to save his friends after meeting Phoenix Wright, who I think in the previous episode they should have established better that he saw the signing of the DMCA. And also they should have properly showed how Boopkins and Bob reacted to the death scene of lmao.
While I definitely like high stakes arcs, I am sort of getting the feeling that with each arc they feel like they have to top the previous one in terms of stakes and what happens to the characters. I really think that the next proper arc 8 should be low stakes. We've had 3 high stakes arcs where the universe in its current form is at stake, so unlike before, like with the Genesis arc, there isn't the same sense of tension when watching the arc as episodes release, as we know with certainty that mostly everything will be fine by the end of the arc. The lawsuit arc is definitely the last arc I think that will be able to convey this same sort of tension, as a fourth arc in a row with the universe at stakes will just be too much. I think they should hold off on a similarly high stakes arc for a year or two at least.
I think I would want to see another arc similar to the Rapper Bob arc, with far lower stakes and much more personal conflict, like with the Seiko Keizo mini arc, which I sort of wished they expanded into a full arc, to be totally honest. I also think the next arc should be more focused on a specific character as well, like the first two arcs in Revelations, and should feature a more grounded in reality character arc like with Bob in his arc. Personally, I would hope to see this arc be focused either on Shrumium Wheeler or Tari, neither of which have gotten an arc so far, if you do not count the Lord Yuigi arc as being Tara's arc. I specifically really like the idea of a Shrumium Wheeler arc, as I really just want to see an episode exploring his and Wheeler's relationship in general, which I'm sure we will get eventually. Though if they did do this, they'd need to be careful as not to give Wheeler too similar of a character arc to Bob, as Wheeler clearly doesn't care too much about his grandson Lol. And with Tari, since Meta Runner is over, I think telling a new story with her in the SMG4 series makes more sense. One final thing about how I would do an 8th arc, I think they should try and do something they've not done before with an arc, so perhaps a more fleshed out romance plot or a sharper split in the gang that takes longer to resolve. Overall, my idea for Arc 8 would be a breath of fresh air, which will be very good for the SMG4 channel. With this current hacking situation, however, I do wonder if that would ever inspire a hacker arc, which would be darker than the YouTube arc where SMG3 takes over the channel. I'd definitely be down to see that, but as that would likely be a high stakes arc, I think if they ever did do that, they should save it for a while.
In conclusion, despite my worries, I still have found this arc fun to watch, and I'm still excited for wotfi 2022. Even if it is just like the other arc wotfis, I'm still excited as I know it'll be a lot of fun just like the rest of them. And that is the one thing you can count on SMG4 to be, as there are few episodes out there I'd say fail to be entertaining at the very least. I just think SMG4 has a problem of rushing stories at the moment. All three of the overarching stories this year have felt rushed, with the Seiko mini arc being the worst offender in this regard. I think for 2023 they should take more time with their stories, like with the Genesis and anime arcs. And yeah, they should probably do a traditional wotfi next year, because some people are getting really pissy about the arc wotfis law, which is understandable. You made the meme games, use those to finish stories with, or maybe do a fake out next year, and have wotfi not be the last episode of an arc. That would be very interesting to see. Oh, and also, remember that the arc is not actually finished yet, so some of my criticisms may become invalid later, or I may change my mind about the arc. Do this, guys.
It's not enough nutrients for the positive one. I need to kidnap more people.
For the love of God, please do not bring swag here.